Hey guys, what's up? It's Merc here for Poolshed Games, and this is going to be another episode of The Shipyard. This time in The Shipyard, going to be talking about one of the more eclectic units for the Covenant of Antarctica, and that unit is the Fresnel Gunship. And the Fresnel looks a bit like this. You can see that it is all energy turrets, all the time. It has a heavy energy turret here, and a regular energy turret here. These have changed, I guess, quite a bit from 1.0. In 1.0, they were an attachment. You would attach them to a unit of Platos, and they had a generator which upped the energy turret dice of every ship in the unit. I guess back in 1.0, if you put them in a unit of 3 Platos, you could be throwing 20-some dice at range band 4, which is insane. Absolutely crazy. That shenanigans has stopped, which is probably for the best. As a Covenant of Antarctica player, even I will say that's a little cray-cray. Yeah. However, they're still beasts. They're now the Covenant of Antarctica's gunship. And as our gunship, they do bring a good amount of just dice to the table. You can run them in units of 1 or 2. I would suggest running them in units of 2 because it gives you 16 dice at range band 4, which it gives you 16 dice at each range band, unless you start taking damage. But 16 dice at range band 4 is fantastic. It lets you pluck away at smalls. Well, it lets you just devastate smalls. Let you pluck away at mediums. You can even put damage on large ships with 16 dice at range band 4. And not a lot of ships out there can put that kind of firepower back. So they're great in that regard. They have energy weapons all over the place. The heavy energy turret, and they have energy broadsides. Heavy energy turret and the energy turret, both because their energy weapons are redoubtable. So you have to take 2 points of hull damage to lose 1 point of gunnery, which is great on these models because even losing one point of gunnery, you're only down to 15 dice. You still have 15 dice at every range band. That's awesome. Talking about their stats a little bit, they have a damage rating of 4, a critical rating of 7. They're pretty fast with an 8-inch move. They have 5 hull points. They have really low assault points, so you don't want to get them boarded. It's just it is what it is. They have a couple of nice model assigned rules, and they have one that's not so nice. They have inventive scientists like most of the Covenant of Antarctica fleet, which means you can re-roll one of your generator dice. But if you get a 1, something bad happens. It has a strategic value, which means if this dies, it gives an extra 25 points of victory points to your opponent. So that's kind of a bummer. Don't let it die. And it has vulnerable. So if it does take if it takes damage, it takes more damage than it normally would. Mostly because it's got a lot of experimental equipment on board, and if it takes a hit and it takes damage, it's likely to take more damage because that experimental equipment will be damaged. But it does come with a shield generator. It comes with a 2-dice shield generator. Most of our cruisers have a shield generator on them of some value, and this is nice because it's 2 dice. Being 2 dice, it means with Overload the Generators and the Inventive Scientists MAR, you have the potential of getting 2 6s, even if you don't roll 2 6s, because you can re-roll 1 die, and if you get a 5, you can bump it to a 6, and it now counts as an exploding 6. So, that's pretty awesome, right? I used these in the last game I played, which was against the Lich Lord and his Kingdom of Britannia models. And a unit of 2 chipped away at his new assault carrier the whole game. Did crits. It was really their only target because I kind of put them out in a bad spot, but they were there trying to protect my fleet carrier. And then on the other end of the table, I had a lone one that picked off the escorts, frigates and just frigates and a cruiser that were with his dreadnought. So it was enough to do just enough damage to help pick things off. That's what I like about these ships. They're not going to win you any games because they're kind of crunchy, and they only come in at max units of 2. So, and they do clock in at 90 points, 90 points each. So a unit of 2 is 180 points, which isn't super expensive, but it's kind of pricey in the points department. I like them though, and if I play 1,000 points or more, I'm going to at least always try to take 2. If I can't fit in 2, I will take 1 for 90 points. Because it gives you that long-range sniping ability. And I'm finding with the Antarcticans, you can run the fleet, it seems, 3 ways. One way is as a sit-back and snipe fleet. If you take a lot of energy weapons, you take target painters, you can sit back and pick away at your opponent. Or you can load up on the primary gunnery. You can load up on like the heavier units and the heavier ships. You can just get in there and mix it up with the opponent, which is fun to do too. Or I've had some luck running combined arms where you have a bit of both. And these fit into that list really nice because they can sit back and provide my aggressive elements, that fire support that I want them to have. And that's really the only role I can think of them having is a sit-back fire support element. Because even if you would take a time orb and teleport them, you don't want to get closer to the enemy. Because they are as effective at every range band. So if they're at 4, they're just as effective as if they're at 1. But if you get closer, now the enemy has more dice because they probably get better as the range closes. And they have the option to board you. 2 things that are very bad for these little ships. So, my tactical advice, and disclaimer, I'm not a tactical genius, is to sit back with them and pick away at mediums and even larges because they can put a hurt on a large if you get a good dice roll, because 16 dice is nothing to laugh at. That's if you have a unit of 2. If you take a unit of 1 and it's only throwing 10 dice, I think it's 10, 4, 7. Yeah, if it's only throwing 10 dice, pick away at mediums or pick off smalls with it. Because that's what it's good at. And ships should do what they're good at. But anyway, that's going to do it for me here with this video. Like I said, I wanted to talk about the I guess not so humble Fresnel Gunship. How it has changed from 1st edition to 2nd edition. And kind of my thoughts on it. Like I said, I really like it. I'm glad I got them. Hopefully you guys liked the video. Hopefully it was insightful if you're thinking about expanding a Covenant of Antarctica fleet. Or if you're going against a Covenant of Antarctica fleet, it gave you a little bit of a heads up as to what these ships might do. If you liked us, give us a thumbs up, leave a comment. We'll see you next time here at Poolshed Games.